All right, listen up. This is a Code Ninja security advisory. We are tracking CVE 2026-0595. It's a critical vulnerability in GitLab, both community and enterprise editions. This requires your immediate attention. So, what are we really looking at here? The National Vulnerability Database says an authenticated user could tack on unauthorized email addresses to accounts. And how? Through HTML injection right in the test case titles. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Test case titles? Sounds kind of obscure, doesn't it? Well, you'd be wrong. This is a critical entry point. An attacker with just basic user privileges can slip malicious code into a field that, let's be honest, most teams would never even think to check. And let's be crystal clear about this. The ability to add an email address isn't some minor flaw. It is a direct account takeover vector. I mean, think about it. Once an attacker's email is linked to a victim's account, all they have to do is hit password reset, and just like that, they get full control. That initial little injection, that's just the key they use to unlock the front door. The real prize is total compromise. So yeah, this is a formal, urgent advisory. Our objective is simple: to provide you with immediate, actionable intelligence so you can mitigate this threat before it gets exploited in your environment. Let's begin. Okay, before we dive into the deep technicals, a quick protocol note. To ensure you get all future threat advisories in real time, we need to establish a secure comms link. This is a critical step, so don't skip it. Follow this 3-step protocol. First, establish your intel stream. That means subscribing and enabling all notifications. This is non-negotiable for getting real-time alerts. Second, acknowledge receipt of this briefing. A simple like confirms you've received this intel. Third, report your status in the comments. Are you patched or vulnerable? This provides crucial data for our threat census. It helps us map the blast radius. Execute these steps now. Intel link established. Good. We're now moving to the deep dive. Let's analyze the technical protocol of this vulnerability. So the root weakness here is categorized as CVE-79, a classic cross-site scripting or XSS flaw. In simple terms, GitLab was not properly sanitizing the data that gets entered into test case titles. This failure to neutralize the input allowed an attacker's HTML and script code to be stored and then executed by the victim's web browser. This is a foundational secure coding 101 type of error. Now pay close attention to the scoring discrepancy here because it's important. We have 2 different assessments. NIST's NVD scored this a 5.4, a medium severity. But GitLab, the vendor themselves, they scored it a 7.3, high severity. So why the difference? It's because GitLab understands the business logic of their own application. They know adding an email address is the key to the kingdom, which is why they rated confidentiality and integrity as high. In this scenario, the vendor's assessment is the operational truth. So, the crucial takeaway is this: your operational posture must be based on a severity score of 7.3. This is a high-severity threat. Do not let that lower NVD score lead to any complacency. All of your defensive actions should reflect this higher rating. Let's break down the attack anatomy. The vector is network, which means it's remotely exploitable. The complexity is low. An attacker does not need specialized skills. Privileges required are also low, meaning any authenticated user can launch this. The only thing slowing them down is that user interaction is required. A victim actually has to view the maliciously crafted test case title for the exploit to trigger. And here's the impact. Based on GitLab's 7.3 score, both confidentiality and integrity impacts are rated high. Confidentiality because the attacker gets unauthorized access to private data. Integrity because they can modify account details. Now, notice the availability impact is none. This attack doesn't crash the server, it surgically compromises it, which frankly can be a lot more dangerous. Okay, let's define the blast radius. The scope here is vast. It impacts both GitLab community and enterprise editions. The vulnerable versions, well, they start all the way back at 13.9 and run right up through 18.8.3. This represents years of releases, which means a significant percentage of deployed instances are probably vulnerable right now as we speak. This brings us to your remediation protocol. The directive is clear. Patch immediately. You must upgrade your instances to one of these secure versions: 18.6.6, 18.7.4, or 18.8.4, or, of course, any newer release that becomes available. There are no alternative workarounds. Patching is the only solution. And just observe this disclosure timeline. The vendor patch was released on February 10th. The very next day, the CVE was made public. By February 12th, scanner definitions were already getting pushed out. This compressed timeline just shows you the speed of modern vulnerability disclosure. The window for defenders to act between a patch being available and widespread adversary knowledge, well, it's shrinking. You must operate with urgency. This concludes the technical portion of our advisory. We'll end now with a brief statement on our operational code. We practice what's called coordinated vulnerability disclosure. This public briefing is a necessary component of that process. By forcing a patch and then arming defenders with the intelligence to act, we shrink the attacker's window of opportunity. Users and administrators must be informed of the risks they face to adequately protect their systems. Silence does not create security.
This advisory is now complete. Stay secure.